You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog balls confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Key, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
I'm talking about Shabaka going crazy. People going crazy in these motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it's nothing. Nothing. About a woman on the day. Man made the car. Carry the heavy load. Man made the electrolyte to take us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water. Like the 7 million. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. Make them happy because man makes them joy. But after man make everything we can, do you know that man makes money? To buy from other men. This is a man's world.
Greetings, Black family. Greetings. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. This is Grand Rising with Shabaka in the Chase. I think Shabaka still sleeps, so hopefully he'll be joining us here shortly. We're supposed to have a general conversation. I'm just going to talk about the tariffs until Shabaka get here. Hopefully he gets here shortly. So I'm going to play the clips. Greetings, twin. Greetings, Mac 285. B1 salute to both of y'all. So, for those that don't know, Trump has increased tariffs on China on all U.S. goods from 84% to 125%. This means the price of everything is about to go up again. So, I'll play a few clips about these tariffs that Trump has put on China. So this first one is from the AP, otherwise known as the Aryan Press, mostly known as the Associated Press.
China announced fresh trade countermeasures on Friday. Beijing said it's hiking tariffs on imports of U.S. goods to 125% from 84%. The new rate takes effect Saturday. The U.S. and China have been escalating their trade war by raising tariffs, even as President Donald Trump hit pause on tariffs for other countries. Trump's universal tariffs on China now total 145%. That's because when Trump announced earlier this week that China faced 125% tariffs, he didn't include a 20% tariff rate tied to China's role in production of fentanyl. In announcing the tariffs, a Chinese finance ministry spokesman accused the U.S. of a numbers game, which has no practical economic significance.
Global stock markets surged on Wednesday after President Trump announced a 90-day pause on sweeping new tariffs for most countries, while at the same time escalating the U.S. trade war with China. Trump raised tariffs on China to 125% after China increased tariffs on U.S. goods to 84% following the Trump administration's initial tariff increases. China has also taken other retaliatory actions, including new restrictions on rare earth exports to the U.S. As for most of the rest of the world, a 10% tariff remains in place, but the more sweeping tariffs were paused just hours after going into effect. Global stock markets had been tumbling ever since Trump announced the new tariffs on April 2nd, on what he called Liberation Day.
The Trump administration's given conflicting accounts as to why Trump reversed course. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said it was Trump's, quote, strategy all along. But Trump himself openly admitted he was concerned about the unraveling of the U.S. bond market.
Bond market is very tricky. I was watching it, but if you look at it now, it's beautiful. The bond market right now is beautiful. But yeah, I saw last night where people were getting a little queasy. I think everything had. Well, the big move wasn't what I did today. The big move was what I did on Liberation Day.
On Wednesday, the S&P 500 soared 9.5% and the Nasdaq jumped over 12% after Trump made his announcements about the tariff pause in a post on Truth Social just before 1:30 p.m. Earlier in the day, Trump wrote, quote, "This is a great time to buy, DJT." Democratic Senator Adam Schiff is now calling on Congress to determine whether the Trump administration engaged in insider trading or market manipulation. Bloomberg is reporting the world's richest people added $304 billion to their combined net worth on Wednesday, the largest one-day gain in the history of the Bloomberg Billionaires Index.
We're joined now by two guests. From Rome, Italy, Nancy Chen is with us. She's a professor of economics at Northwestern University, co-director of Northwestern University's Global Poverty Research Lab, founding director of the China Econ Lab. Her latest piece for Project Syndicate is headlined, "Americans Can't Win from Trump's Trade War." Joseph Stiglitz is with us in studio here in New York. Nobel Prize-winning economist, Columbia University professor, former chair of the Council of Economic Advisors. Professor Stiglitz is also currently the chief economist of the Roosevelt Institute. His latest book, The Road to Freedom, Economics and the Good Society. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Professor Stiglitz, let's begin begin with you. Just overall respond to this roller coaster. And if anyone has any doubt that global outcry matters and protests around the globe make a difference, like what happened this weekend, well, just take a look at what happened yesterday. Can you talk about, Professor Stiglitz, your response?
There's been total chaos. And one of the things that we know is that chaos is bad for the market. But there's been already lasting damage. You know, for the last 80 years, we were trying to create a world where a borderless world, at least borders mattered less. All of a sudden, borders matter more. And it's not only borders with those you don't like, it's borders with our best friends in Canada. So this is a new world where every country has to ask a question that we never asked before. What is the extent of our national economic sovereignty? What will happen if some crazy person in another country, in the United States, for instance, would suddenly raise tariffs 20%, 10%, 20%, 50%, 100%? So there is no reliability in our relationships, whether with friend or not so friend. What is also clear is that Trump has no economic theory behind what he's doing. And I think that's most disturbing, both to me as an economist and to those who are on the other side of negotiations. I've talked to some of these people, and they say, you know, we don't know how to negotiate because the other side is not a normal negotiator. You know, normally the other side knows what they want. There's a theory about how trade works. That's not true here. It's a different world. So let me give you an example. Trump thinks that trade deficits by themselves, and in particular trade deficits in goods, reflect somebody treating us unfairly. And it's based sort of on a premise that we are better than any other country, so people should be buying more goods from us than we are buying from them. It's absurd. The net magnitude of the multilateral trade deficit is just determined by the disparity between aggregate savings on the one hand, and national savings and aggregate national demand, investment on the other. And if savings goes down, then we'll have a bigger deficit. Now, his proposal to have a big tax cut, unfunded, is effectively a lowering of national savings. And that's going to make the multilateral national trade deficit larger. Then you look at the microeconomics. I just want to make sure he makes a big difference between goods and services. But we are in the 21st century, not where we were in 1950. Services are the major part of our economy. Goods production, manufacturing is 9–10%. What are important? Service sector, tourism, education, health. What is he doing to those sectors? Look what he's done in the last few weeks. He's devastated our education system. The way his border immigration people have treated those wanting to come into our country with valid passports, visas, has discouraged tourism. So he is hell-bent at hurting America's major export industry, tourism, and education. So he's making things just that much more worse at the micro level and at the macro level.
So before I bring in Professor Nancy Chan, I wanted to ask you, you just said earlier that chaos is bad for the market, indisputable, but how do you explain, people are absolutely perplexed, we had that in the introduction as well, how is it that just as Trump declared a pause on these tariffs, the market soared? And not just soared, I mean, for the biggest daily gain since 2008, the S&P. What explains?
Greetings, Shabaka, Grand Rising.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Greetings from Sin City.
All right, so I was playing these clips about the tariffs that Trump just put on China, increased on China. So playing from Democracy Now!
Oh, okay.
Trump pauses most tariffs while escalating trade war with China.
Right. Okay.
So the dude was talking about how it's affecting both microeconomics and macroeconomics.
Right. There's a chain reaction between them both.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let the clip continue and then we can discuss it afterwards.
Okay.
Remember that the market had gone down enormously, almost into bear territory in the 2 preceding days. There is a lot of irrational exuberance at times in the market. My judgment is that they've made a mistake. And the reason I think there's a mistake is the importance of trade with China in many ways is much larger than trade with Europe. That we depend enormously for goods coming from China. You know, we buy cars from Europe. If we don't have the European cars, you know, we suffer a little bit, but it's not a big deal. If we don't have the ingredients that go into so many of our goods, or if those ingredients go up twice in price, that's a big disturbance. So I'm anticipating that there will be actually a very big disturbance from these enormous, unprecedented, let me emphasize, unprecedented tariffs against China, and China's retaliation, including their restrictions on exports of minerals and rare earths that we need for our production.
So, Professor Nancy Chan, if we could get you to respond to the scale of these tariffs and what you think the impact on the Chinese economy and also the U.S. economy will be on these 125% that the U.S. has imposed on China and 84% that China has imposed on the U.S.
Like Professor Stiglitz said, these tariff rates are unprecedented. They are so high, it's really difficult for us to calibrate exactly what the cost will be on everyone, except that we know it's going to be enormous. You know, already we're seeing contracts that are being canceled between Chinese suppliers and American importers. Business relationships that took decades to build are now being paused because these tariffs are so high that no one can be profitable, can stay in business, and continue to import. And, you know, the thing about tariff rates is if you increase it a little bit, then maybe people can take the hit. By people, I mean, you know, the firms, the exporters and the importers. But if you increase it a lot and they can't meet their bottom line, then they just have to stop. And we've just never seen anything like this before. And what does it mean for the US if we can't get parts from China? And also, what does it mean for China if they have to shut factories that are supporting families, you know, and children that were relying on these export jobs? So I think the cost for both economies is going to be colossal. We'll see a little bit of it in the short run. And if this continues, we're just going to see it exponentiate over time.
Let me ask you, Professor Chen, about the Treasury Secretary Bessent's comments when he said, you know, this was all planned. The question is, of course, was insider trading planned? Trump boasted yesterday the greatest increase in the stock market that the country it had ever seen. And, of course, the question is how these billionaires and perhaps, I can't say this, I know this, I don't know this, that Trump himself benefited yesterday as it rose, buying early. But Bessent's comment, you might even say Trump goaded China, and they showed themselves to be the bad actor that they are. Your comment, Professor Chen. I think we just lost Professor Chen in Rome, Italy, so we'll put that question to Professor Stiglitz.
Well, I don't think they anticipated this kind of response. The kind of language they used was a schoolyard bully. It was, they didn't show us respect. And of course, China's view was, U.S. broke international economic law. We have an international framework, that, the WTO, that is supposed to determine how countries determine trade policy. And we just threw that whole agreement that we played a key role in writing, we threw it in the dustpan. So the argument that, oh, he didn't show me respect is the kind of language you hear from bullies. I don't think we expected them to act so responsibly. I was in China about 2 weeks ago, and it was very clear that they were ready for another round because they had seen how erratic Trump was. And there is a fundamental asymmetry that I think Trump and his team doesn't fully grasp. The asymmetry is that China will experience a deficiency in aggregate demand as they lose their exports. You can shift that demand to producing domestically, and they've been trying to do that for a number of years. And this is going to move much harder to shift supply. So we are in a tighter bind, I think, than China.
So Professor Chen is back with us. Professor Chen, that comment of the Treasury Secretary that this was all planned and that Trump successfully managed to goad China so that they would show themselves to be the bad actors that they are, and Vance's comment the day before referring to the Chinese peasants.
It's really hard to believe that all of this was planned as a strategy to get to China, for a bunch of different reasons. One is, the unique adversarial relationship between China and the U.S. is well known, and it's been going on since the first trade war. So there's really no new information to be learned. The second is that the Chinese and the U.S. had actually been negotiating, and the Chinese had shown themselves to be really willing to negotiate and really not desiring a trade war. So you see that, for example, in the negotiations over the TikTok deal. So under the Biden administration, it was TikTok was asked to divorce itself from its Chinese owners, ByteDance. At the time, the Chinese government said, no way, we'll never let ByteDance sell TikTok to Americans. But then under the Trump administration, what we saw was that, the negotiations proceeded quite rapidly. And 2 days before it became official, that's when the U.S. hiked up tariffs on China to another 34%. So that just doesn't feel like a well-planned strategy. Another way to ask it is to say, well, what has the U.S. government achieved now that it couldn't have achieved without raising tariffs for the entire world, right? What did it achieve by increasing tariffs for islands with only penguins on it? What was the point of that? Did that tell anyone anything about American strength or about China? And the answer has to be no.
There's that cartoon going around. First they came for the cats, then they came for the penguins. Nermeen.
I wanted to ask about the broader implications of what it would mean for a massive cut in trade between the U.S. and China. The World Trade Organization said Wednesday that this escalating tariff war could cut trade in goods between the two countries by 80%, and trade between China and the U.S. accounts for 3% of global trade, all global trade. So what would that mean? What are the fallout effects of that on other countries, much smaller economies? And Professor Stiglitz, this point that you made about the U.S. having broken international economic law, Bernie Sanders issued a statement yesterday saying that what he's done is actually unconstitutional, that Trump does not have the authority to impose the tariffs that he has. So if you could comment on both those things.
So let me begin by first emphasizing there's going to be a big economic effect on the United States because the time it takes to bring manufacturing back in the United States, even if he were successful, is not 3 months, not even a year, 2 years. I've talked to firms that have thought about bringing manufacturing back to the United States. They say we don't have the logistics, we don't have the supply chains that you need to bring complex manufacturing back. And modern manufacturing is robotic. So even if we brought manufacturing back, there aren't going to be many jobs. So the reality is that his picture of bringing us back to the 1950s, that's never going to happen. But what's going to happen in the meanwhile? We're not going to be able to get those goods that Americans want. We saw what happened when the supply chains got interrupted after the pandemic and after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Prices soared, some goods more than others. And that's the world we're going to be back in. That's going to affect, of course, not only the United States, but every other country. If the Fed acts like it normally does, when prices go up, it raises interest rates. We're going to go back into stagflation.
Who is Trump's ear? I mean, you've got the trade whisperer, Peter Navarro, right, who was, top economic trade guy in the first administration, then went to prison, is now out, and continually cites the economist Ron Vero for why it's important to trade, to impose tariffs. And it turns out that Ron Vero is just an anagram of Navarro. He doesn't even exist. You can't make this stuff up. And now, of course, Donald Trump would call reporters for years as John Barron. So it's very similar. Also a fictional person. In fact, it was Donald Trump. So who is advising him? And what about the fact that people like Elon Musk joined with the oligarchy, the other billionaires, against what he was doing, attacked Navarro nonstop, calling him a moron and a sack of bricks, but said that was an insult to bricks?
Well, I mean, there is no one that he seems to be listening to. In many ways, Trump is giving protectionism a bad name. There is an argument that you can say that carefully constructed policies can help build particular industries.
So UAW President Shawn Fain makes that argument.
Yeah, in particular industries, it has to be crafted. More important for developing countries than developed. We don't need that as much as a poor developing country, but sometimes you can use carefully crafted trade policies to do that. But his broad-based policies, his going after Canada, his going after the penguins, makes absolutely no sense. And what he's bringing back is the concern that we've had, that political economists have had for a very long time. It can be a source of corruption. When you negotiate in a non-transparent way,
it is a source of corruption,
what happens is bribes get paid. You say, take off my tariff and I'll give you money. Money either directly to you or to your campaign coffers. So we're going back into a non-transparent world where, for instance, the billionaire tech bros can help shape global tech policy in international trade to the detriment of the entire world. He's already done that. He's made a big deal about the EU changing its laws that try to create competition in the tech sphere to try to make sure that there's AI safety and social media safety, content moderation. He's attacked these fundamental laws, and all this is going to be going on in secret and with a lot of dirty stuff.
And just boasts like he did the other night. I've got all these countries kissing my, I won't say it, but it rhymes with grass. You know what I mean?
Okay. And just before we conclude, Professor Chan, if you could give us an idea, what is happening in China? What are you hearing about how industries there are preparing for what's to come?
So China, the voices in China are surprisingly calm. You know, the government's trying to strike a balance between preparing the people for economic pains to come and getting people into a mindset of solidarity. You know, they're blaming these tariff hikes on the Trump administration and the US government. And people find that convincing in this case. At the same time, they're also trying to not stir up too much nationalism. So they've been really careful to actually censor how high the tariff hikes have been by the US. They've been careful. And, you know, my reading of what's going on is that they're creating space so that they can get out of this, right? So that there's a face-saving way to negotiate and get out of this trade war if an opportunity presents itself. And, you know, in the meantime, of course, the central bankers, the industries, everyone is lining themselves up for a deep and long trade war.
Now, to prove your point, Brother Che.
Yeah.
Say, you got a lot of these fucking tethers that you got to blame for this shit. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, and the neo-colonialists, because you see, for China to do this, all right, along with Trump, if it wasn't for the continent of Africa with those raw materials, they couldn't leverage it. You see what I mean? Because that's where they're getting the raw materials, you know, like with the vibranium, you know, as we know, the diamonds, okay, the gold itself, you see, and then
Platinum.
America, platinum, yes, sir. And if America had any type of moral consciousness with these politicians, they'd be impeaching that bastard today, man, but they're not. Why? Because he's got them all in his pocket.
He got a whole mandate. But let's hear from the MD. Greetings, MD. Grand Risers to you. Thank you for tapping in the Grand Riser with Shabaka in the chat.
MD, what's going on?
What's going on? What's happening? What's happening?
All right, keeping it black on the attack. You know what I mean?
I feel you on that. So let's get a baseline understanding on the situation at hand. First and foremost, you got to understand, Trump don't give a damn about bringing no manufacturing job back to America. Anybody believe that is a dumbass.
Yes.
Right.
Anybody that believe that is a dumbass. First of all, again, they said it like gracefully in that particular clip. Manufacturing is not even something that can be facilitated in the United States. We don't control that industry, nor do we want to control that industry anymore. Like it's a relic of the past, first and foremost. Ain't nobody making no living being on no damn assembly line no more. It just don't work that way.
Right.
We are economy of goods and services. That's what we sell. We are essentially the plug for the world. What do I mean by that? Meaning we facilitate the sale, the buying, the relegation of everything that is in the economy, not just here in the United States, but for the world. How is that done? It's done by the conglomerate.
Yes, sir.
It's done by the companies. The companies facilitate shit that we want to buy. They outsource it to the cheapest country to get it manufactured, and then it come back to us and we buy it at a low cost. That's just what it is. That's our economy. Now China has taken control of that. Say, hey, look, we'll be that assembly line for the world, and they've done it. Pennies on the dollar. So you want me to believe that all of a sudden these same jobs gonna come back to the United States? If that's the case, half of the stuff that we buy here in the U.S. won't exist no more because it'll be too damn high to produce.
Exactly.
Like this shit is simple economics.
Yeah, it is. And then too, and the kind of man that there, MD, and it's gonna be hard, you know, because even I myself was prepping for it, man. Don't buy the shit. See, the way you drive down prices, man, is that when they stock up these stores with that inventory, the same thing, man, with furniture stores, automobiles, man, computer parts, laptops, all that stuff, they got to move that crap, man, okay? Now, if they don't move it, it costs them even more money. Now, what's going to happen is on these laptops, your cell phones, man, they're going to be putting more spy devices in there. They're going to be putting more trolls in there, man, because look at all the crap that we go through. You see what I mean?
Right. But let me say this, though, Shabaka. You 100% correct on that. But even with that, it's still a market for it. How? Because they liquidate all the shit. Right. Don't you know all the shit that they bring over here when it don't get bought, they just file insurance claim on it and liquidate it.
Yeah, that's all
and then we can buy it for even at a cheaper price. So I ain't got no problem with that, to be honest with you. Hell, I go to the liquidation mark and I get that shit for cheaper. I can wait. I ain't got to buy it when it first comes out. I can wait.
Right.
Exactly.
Because some of that stock ain't gonna get bought, and it's gonna get liquidated. So even that is a market. But here's the thing that the underlying issue, people don't understand, especially MAGA maniacs, these dumbass MAGA supporters.
Oh yeah, that's the main problem.
They want you to believe that it's a worker issue. It's almost like they trying to out left the left, right?
Yeah.
Trying to make it about workers' rights, and they don't give a shit about none of that.
No.
At the end of the day, and I used this analogy before, it's like when you saving money, you a penny pinch, whatever situation may be, and you finding change here and there in the couch, in between the car seat, in the car.
Yep, that's what I've been doing.
Eventually, that shit accumulate.
Yep.
It accumulate. You put it in the jar, and before you know it, you maybe got $40, $50.
Yep.
It's the same situation with Trump. Trump don't give a shit about nothing that you're talking about when it comes to manufacturing jobs. His goal is to save as much money as possible to validate these big ass tax cuts that he about to bring to the billionaire. That's all it is. This shit is so simple a baby can think of.
Right.
He wants you to believe that all this money he's saving is for you. It's not for your black ass. It's for these billionaire conglomerates.
Yes, sir.
To give them tax and continue the Reaganomic trickle-down economic strategy. That's it.
And Adam Smithsonian economics. You see what I'm saying? And fuck Adam Smith. You see what I mean? And the whole philosophy. Because what it is let everybody go out here, scramble. Okay, it's like this here, MD. And this is really touch homes. Okay, let's say, all right, you got a quote-unquote project. You got 35 rats inside of, let's say, of a 1-by-1 box. You put in a small piece of cheese. What the rat's gonna do to get to that piece of cheese?
They're gonna kill each other to get that cheese.
Exactly. But in my opinion, now keep in mind, gentlemen, this is an opinion, but the rap industry, if them dudes, man, got educated, and I do know the word is educated. See, this is why I like talking to intelligent people. You see what I'm saying? Okay. And caused a shift off in the rap industry, which they could lever. It's an uphill battle, but they could leverage it, you see. But what you're going to need on that is cohesiveness. You see what I'm saying? Amongst the community. When the cave dwellers come out there, man, just like during the 1960s, man, when everybody was tripping off the Lucy in the Sky Diamonds, oh, we love everybody. Turn your back on them. You know, you see that the white fella out there, oh, I need food on the side of the freeway. Turn your back on them. Because I'm sitting up there, man, in the left turn lane coming off the expressway or freeway, MD-20, because I know you guys in the East call them expressways. They call them freeways out here in the West, right? You know, I had to tell the white fella, I says, look, man, there's 3 things working for your advantage. 1 is your youth. 2 is you're white. So why are you coming to me as a black man asking me to give you my money?
Right.
Well, see, bro, we're all the same. You have a nice day. And leave them there. And leave them there.
I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, this is a capitalistic system that we in.
It is.
I rocks with it to a certain extent. You talk about cohesiveness, which is fine. I ain't got no issue with that. But to me, it's placing a drop in the ocean. It's the same thing at the end of the day. I shouldn't have to rely on any economic strategy from another person. Why don't I have the tools and the socio-political wherewithal to worry about my own damn economic strategy. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
that's what
you're
it's
right.
all about. We all want to
Yes.
make money. We all want to sustain some type of lifestyle, whether it be on the low end or high end. It really shouldn't matter because it shouldn't pertain to nobody else. At the end of the day,
Exactly.
give me the appropriate leverage. Give me the appropriate means to be able to do what I got to do so I can survive out here. When you
Yes,
institute
sir.
this trickle down strategy that Reagan, like I said, that was the most diabolical thing. We know this. That was the
Yes.
most diabolical thing that ever happened to macroeconomics here in this country. This
Yep.
thing that
Yeah.
we call trickle down. It's not trickle down economics.
Yes.
It's how can
Smithsonian
we
Economics, Adam
maximize.
Smith. Yeah, you're
Well,
right.
I even push back on that though, Shabaka, because
Okay.
Adam Smith's strategy, as it pertains to the invisible hand, wasn't about the government giving a tush push to damn corporations. That ain't what free trade economics is about. It really is supposed to be every man for themselves out here.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
Adam Smith economics. If
And
this
this,
was
Right.
real Adam Smith economics, there won't be such thing as name brands or we wouldn't know
Okay.
because every other day companies will die and also
Yep.
companies will sprout up. That's real capitalism.
Right.
This
yes.
shit that we
Yep.
live in ain't real capitalism.
Oh,
This is
you're right.
government assist. This is welfare
Yep.
corporatism.
This is
That's
Yeah.
what this shit is.
Exactly. Corporate welfare is
Corporate
what it is.
welfare.
corporate
Yeah, it's
welfare.
because it's because you see, with we all know, is that a corporation is a legal entity, just like Shabaka St.
Under
and
Citizens
Crewmares.
United.
Right.
Huh?
It's that
I said under
neoliberal.
Citizens United. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you say it's because the damn thing about a corporation, they get more tax breaks than you do. You see what I'm saying? See, we're making a donation of this bullshit write-off. Making a donation on this bullshit write-off. Oh, we lost all this, so we giving it like to the United Way, or we giving it to any of these nonprofit organizations. Tax write-off. You see what I mean?
United Negro College Fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that kind of shit. Yeah, see, exactly. And then, not to mention the fact,
ice. Where did you get that
Huh?
avatar? MD. It says hello, ice.
Yeah, I'm trolling.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. But you see, that's just it, though. Now, the only type of business that I could think of that tried to go in this direction, man, and they got straight fucking derailed. Okay, that there was Johnson Publications there in Chicago. Okay, it's because John H. Johnson died, Eunice Johnson died. They leave her to the daughter. What's the first thing she do? She goes sells it to Time magazine. And if you could bet, if the roles were reversed, Time magazine would not have sold to Ebony. You see, this is why they want us to come up here with all this all-inclusive shit. You see what I mean? So therefore, you can still have brain dead Uncle Tim Scott Negroes and Ben Carson's. You the boss, oh man, I just love you so much, boss. You see? And then when guys who are talking about, black independence business-wise, you see what I'm saying? I don't know, well, you're a black racist guy. And you can't do nothing with the continent of Africa because you got too many damn tethers over there and neo-colonial.
Yeah, they ain't doing Chinese over there that's raping them of all their resources.
Yeah, exactly. Because China has got liens on at least 40% of the African countries over there.
Yep.
See, so they got their foot inside the door to get the raw materials. So the Chinese is taking up where the French and the Belgians left off at.
Yep, the French, the British, the Belgium, and
right, the Dutch,
the Portuguese.
Yeah, you see what I mean? And then they got.
Yeah, you're totally right.
And then they got these puppet regimes over there that just do what they tell them. You see what I'm saying? And then when somebody like Thomas Sankara stands up, you saw what happened to Thomas Sankara. You saw what happened to Muammar Gaddafi. You see? See what I mean?
They were assassinated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
so
then who was up there? The so-called president of the United States at the time. You guessed it, Osambo.
Mm-hmm.
You
so
see what I
so
mean?
at so at the end of the day, what we talking about here is something that ain't sustainable. The
Right.
Yeah,
shit that you
basically, yeah.
is not sustainable, and at the end of the day,
Exactly.
it's killing us.
Exactly.
It's
It's like
killing
the
the actual
Titanic
working man.
sinking.
It's killing the actual working man that got
Right.
stake in the actual economy. Trump don't give a damn about this economy. He don't.
No.
No, you don't.
If anybody
No, you don't.
think that, it's crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
Crazy
exactly.
as hell.
Yeah, or
You
severe
saw what
misinformed.
happened when he did that pause on them tariffs. Like people lost
Yeah.
millions of dollars in their 401k and all that shit. He don't give a damn.
He don't.
Exactly.
He
He
don't give a
said
damn.
he.
And like I said, that shit gonna come out at the end of the day. When it's all said and done, they gonna find out that he was doing insider trading. He was definitely doing it.
Oh
He was
yeah.
Oh,
definitely
yeah,
doing
it
it.
was. And then
How
you
how
got
how
to
you
think,
explain that the call volume at the stock exchange go up 20 minutes before he make the announcement? How you explain that? You can't explain that shit.
It's
yeah,
insider trade.
yeah, it's insider training, bribery, you know,
I'm talking
the
about
Federal
blatant.
Trade
They ain't
Commission.
even try to hide it. That shit is blatant.
No. Very blatant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
said. He
In
said he
other
made
words, man,
$7 trillion. Do y'all believe that?
oh, I believe it.
Well, I mean, yeah, the market itself made that much up, but it's still down. Like year over year, it's still down.
Yeah.
But
Right.
that lets you know the amount of money that's being pushed in the stock market.
Yep.
It's a lot of goddamn money.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. You say, and then also too, where a lot of the money is at there too, MD20. Okay, because you out of New York, right, MD20?
No,
Nah, I'm
he's
in Atlanta.
Oh, the ATL. Okay, yeah, my bad. Okay, yeah,
no
but see, but
underrated
what it
darkness
is,
is out of New York, Shabaka.
huh?
Underrated darkness is out of New York.
Oh, okay, it's all good. It's all good. Greetings from the Wild Wild West. Okay, but even still though, they knew that this shit was coming, man, right after Trump got elected. Why do you think when old boy, man, got inaugurated, man, he started signing those damn executive orders, man, and he ain't even went to the damn White House yet. He was sitting there at the Capitol, okay, signing all those executive orders. Oh, DJT, DJT, DJT. Yes, say now. Then when you have black folk who is talking about starting their own businesses and what have you, you see what I mean? You know, oh, well, you guys are black racists ought to be all inclusive. I mean, look at the shit me and Brother Che go through, man, when we do this right here. You see,
Right.
each time we go up here, man, oh man, y'all are doing hate speech and copyright infringement and all that old bullshit. You see, which is all lies. Why? Because they want to kill us, resurrecting these mentally dead individuals. You see what I'm saying? And then what was common practice in the black community? Well, just go to school, get a job, you know, working for somebody else, as opposed to going to school, developing own jobs for yourselves. You see, when you look at these Chinese out here in the West, man, they ain't talking about going working for somebody, man. They're talking about buying some stock, the preferred stock that is, off in these corporations, running the corporations, employing their own. You see, but then when the ass scratching the coon comes up there skinning and grinning, oh man, well, you know, we ain't got nothing for you. But still, he got a family to take care of and what have you, trying to upgrade himself. Now, what's the next thing that happens? Now he starts going doing stuff illegal, which creates a huge increase in the inmate population. Like this here MD20. In California, man, black people make up less than 18% of the population in the state, but they make up more than 39% of the inmate population. Something not right.
Yep. That's by
See,
design.
something not right. And then when you had that former raggedy ass attorney general, man, who was your first vice president, oh, I'm not going to do nothing strictly for black people now.
Now I gotta play the damn clip, Shabaka. Every time you say that.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No. Because
you see what I'm saying? Now, if any other people came out there and said that, hey, we're going to do this here for the Irish, we're going to do this here for the British, good. What would the normal white American would be? Well, that's Sounds like also crap. But you call it folk when you say that, say you're a black racist guy. We're in no damn economic, political position to implement any type of racism. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Why do you think the policy enforcers kill us?
So now he wants to go.
Because they ain't got no economical power. We're going in and killing these dumb bunny ass Negroes, man. Ain't nothing gonna happen to us.
So now the dumb wants to go with Iran. He said Iran can't have no nuclear weapons.
You see what I mean? You know, and then on top of it as well too is look at how MD look at how they shattered the black family unit. All these sisters out here, they want a bed wench. They don't want to get with no brother. All these brothers out here, they want a buck wench. They don't want to get with no sister.
Yes,
see?
Sad.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? You know. But I'll tell you one damn thing, though. There's a lot of land for sale out here in Nevada.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of land for sale in Colorado, too.
So we got to get some think tanks, but forget about Negroes like Thomas Sewell. You see what I'm saying? Forget about Negroes like Larry Elder and Leo Terrell and old Baldy Locks back there in New York, Eric Adams.
Not Uncle Larry.
Uncle Larry.
Oh, Larry Elders is a mess, man. He's out of Los Angeles, MD. He's a mess. Him and Leo Terrell, man. You know what I'm saying? And all this all-inclusive crap is to our detriment. How come black family we can't turn to ourselves? You say they don't want us to turn to ourselves. Why? To quote the words of that dude by the name of Admiral Yamamoto at the Pearl Harbor, that he told all his top captains and lieutenants and shit like that, we just awaken a sleeping giant.
Yep.
Say, because see, there's a sleeping giant that's sleeping. He's snoring real good. You know what I'm saying? With a hangover from the night before and all that. It's called the black man and woman in America.
So what's it going to take to wake that sleeping giant, Shabaka?
Oh, well, Brother Jay, that there's on you and MD20's generation, man. You know what I'm saying? I won't be there with you just off the law of biophysics.
Shabaka, you're going to be here. You're going to live to 150 years old.
Man, boy, the way they abuse the elderly, man, I wouldn't want to be no 150 years old, man, you know. But that's what it is, you see. And then, of course, you know, we get these trolls, you know, like who was that fool who used to troll us all the time, man, that he hated Malcolm X, and he's got him a Mercedes, you know what I mean? And he's sitting at the lunch counter begging for a cup of coffee, talking about who?
Regal.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, where you at this morning, Mr. Regal? You know what I mean? Say, but that's too much like right. You see,
he cussed him out last time. He was like, "I'm out."
Oh, okay. Well, he can't take this heat. Okay. Well, if you can't take the heat, don't bring your ass into the kitchen. And say, I don't hate the brother. If any damn thing, I feel sorry for. That's it. And as you know, Brother Jay, you ought to see all the foul crap they've called me over the years. I ain't mad at you. I don't hate you. I just know that you don't know any damn better. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Do you know? See? And it's not so much having to do with forgiveness or anything like that. It's just that the brother's got a chain on his brain. Okay, we understand. You see what I'm saying? We understand. We don't hate you, Regal. We just feel sorry for your ass. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But I got faith in the generations after me, MD20 and Brother Jay. I got faith in y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I got faith in y'all. Y'all will make the right decision at the right time. You see, because it'll be divine intervention. You see what I'm saying? Just like with our brother Nat Turner. You know what I mean? And you don't have to fire one shot. You don't have to put your hands on nobody. Just change your economical output. I'm sorry, no, just change your economical viewpoint. You see what I mean? And when they put that high price shit up there on those shelves, man, don't buy the shit. You know, don't buy shit from Amazon. Let Amazon go under the bus, you see, because, you know, the dumpster is going to replace the post office with Amazon.
Oh my God. Stupid.
Every time I see one of these raggedy ass pieces of shit driving down the street in these Amazon trucks, I'm just sitting up there just shaking my head. I mean, a dude worth $250 billion, man, you can't spend in 5 lifetimes.
Yeah. All right, MD, what's your closing? Or are you able to stay with us, or are you on the road? What you doing?
MD? He's got his mic muted.
He might be on the road then. All right, Shabaka, I had another clip about the Trump wanting to wage war on Iran.
Wow.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
The U.S. and Iran are planning to hold talks this weekend in Oman. President Trump made the announcement on Monday. He said direct talks will be held, while Iran said they would be indirect talks. Presidential envoy Steve Witkoff will head the U.S. delegation. Iran is sending its foreign minister Abbas Araghchi. In 2018, Trump withdrew the United States from the landmark Iran nuclear deal, the JCPOA, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. On Monday, Trump directly threatened Iran when he was asked what will happen if a new nuclear deal is not reached.
If diplomacy fails, is the United States, under your leadership, ready to take military action to destroy the Iranian nuclear program and remove this threat?
I think if the talks aren't successful with Iran, I think Iran is going to be in great danger. And I hate to say it. Great danger, because they can't have a nuclear weapon.
So is that a yes?
You know, it's not a complicated formula. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's all there is.
President Trump was sitting in the Oval Office on Monday with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu when he said that. Trump said Israel yesterday. He said Israel will take a leading role if the U.S. went ahead with striking Iran.
With Iran, if it requires military, we're going to have military. Israel will obviously be very much involved. And
Regal, you'll follow Trump straight down the toilet, won't you?
But nobody leads us. We do what we want to do.
The Trump administration's also levied new sanctions against Iran, targeting its uranium enrichment program. We're joined right now by Nagar Mortazeh, the Iranian-American journalist, host of the Iran podcast, senior fellow at the Center for International Policy. Nagar, welcome back to Democracy Now! If you could,
Regal, why don't you get in the chat, man?
To what President Trump is threatening and what you know of these talks taking place in Oman on Saturday.
The chat, you self-hating Negro.
So, Amy, it seems like President Trump is kind of.
By the way, how's your raggedy-ass Mercedes running?
Specifically, first-term playbook of what they have themselves coined peace through strength, or trying to get to the negotiating table, or to diplomacy via
Regal, we don't need
threats,
coons like
which
you
in this
anyway.
case is military threats. We saw him do the same in his first term against Iran, with North Korea, with other parties that he wants to get to the negotiating table and feels like the other side doesn't come to the table, and so with threats and with pressure, he thinks he can force them. I think, though, the experience of the first Trump term, when it was maximum pressure on the other side, didn't really work with the Iranians and backfired. And there may have been some lessons learned. We see that he's fired some of the main figures of the maximum pressure Iran campaign, Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, Brian Hook. They're no longer with him. He's publicly disassociated with them. And so it seems like this time, his really intent on diplomacy, on a deal with Iran, on a deal that he's been trying to say is going to be a better deal, that the Obama-era deal was a bad one, and his is going to be better. And potentially, I guess, a Nobel Peace Prize is something that he has his eyes on if he can get this nuclear deal with Iran, which he's called a nuclear peace deal. But at the same time, we've seen that it's difficult for him to get to the negotiating table with the Iranians, and so the pressure
and how much interest you paying
are also
for that
coming with a
raggedy
power.
ass
So
2025
it's a strange
S-class?
methodology to try to convince the other side with threats and pressure, and that's one of the reasons the Iranians are not willing to sit down directly and negotiate directly. And this emphasis on indirect negotiations is because they're also saying, look, you want to negotiate and have diplomacy, which is something Tehran has indicated they want as well.
Yeah,
but at the same time, you're increasing maximum pressure. Just yesterday, as you said, they put on more sanctions on Iran. Since he came into office, he signed a memorandum of maximum pressure to tighten sanctions and pressure on Iran, and there have been periodic sanctions imposed on the Iranians. So it's not exactly the best way to get to the negotiating table, but nevertheless, this is his style, and the Iranians have played ball to meet with them on Saturday in Oman, but that's one of the main reasons it's going to be indirect, because the Iranian side is basically signaling that they want to see some goodwill. They also want to understand the framework and the U.S.'s bottom line of what it is that they want. Because if you listen to President Trump and, for example, Steve Witkoff, the structure or the framework they've talked about is Iran not having nuclear weapons, just not having nuclear weapons, which is something Tehran has agreed to before, and they've actually said they don't want nuclear weapons. But if you listen, for example, to National Security Advisor Michael Waltz or Benjamin Netanyahu going out of the White House and some other people on that orbit, they're saying a dismantlement, an entire dismantlement of Iran's nuclear program. Basically, Iran can't have a nuclear program, period. So which is it? I think that is also going to sort of show the way on Saturday to the Iranians.
So Nighat, also, if you could talk about what the situation is, the economic context in which these negotiations are taking place.
Why are you so hateful,
in Iran, the enormous economic pressure that's been brought to bear on Iran over all these years of sanctions now exponentially multiplied, and the fact that in an unprecedented move, the Iranian president Masoud Pezeshkian has said that if a deal is reached, American companies could come and invest in Iran.
Sure. So let me start with the latest. The Iranian president, again, exactly as you said, unprecedented, has said that the supreme leader himself is open to American companies coming to Iran and investing. And this is, again, signal to
you're not qualified to even talk to us, man. Why don't you get out of our chat room? How about that?
Of the JCPOA, President Obama's legacy nuclear deal with Iran was that the Europeans were reaping all the benefits and not Americans.
And I'm not trying to lead nobody. The only thing I do is pass down knowledge.
It's not something that Iran has started. It's something that American companies can't do because of very strict U.S. sanctions.
Because you're busy out there buck dancing in your Mercedes.
Trade with Iran or any form of investment because of the punishment that the U.S. government will impose on them in the form of sanctions.
That's $300,000. Me personally, I think you're a damn fool to buy.
Now have prevented other companies around the world, Europeans, Asians, many others, to these sanctions if they do trade with Iran. So if that's something that President Trump wants, he can change that. Iran had a deal to buy airplanes, passenger airplanes from Boeing, and even that was stopped from happening, which essentially Boeing took an economic hit for that. As far as the economic situation in Iran, well, the economy is in pretty bad shape, declining as a direct result of these harsh economic sanctions. Iran is one of the most, if not the most, one of the most sanctioned countries in the world right now.
Get up there with Uncle Sambo. Buck dance with Uncle Sambo.
Even punish non-American companies who do trade with Iran if you buy Iranian oil, gas. As a result of that,
ever been in Los Angeles, Regal?
Assets sitting in reserves, basically blocked outside the country. For example, the Iraqis buy a lot of energy from Iran, but they owe the money in billions to Iran because the U.S. doesn't allow them to pay Iran back. And so it's a combination of this cutoff, Iran's being cut off
When's the last time you've
the
been to
world
Los
economy,
Angeles,
or most
Regal?
of it, that has really impacted the state of affairs and the living situation for ordinary Iranians, working class, middle class Iranians. The life, basically, their
we have 30
purchasing
seconds.
power has shrinked.
Oh my God, Regal.
Well, he's a coon.
To troll.
Yeah, he's a coon, man. But I still love Regal, although he hates himself. I understand his disease.
You're late to the party. America's about
Green is your race. Wow.
No, your race is black, whether you want to accept it or not.
Yeah, go get stopped by the LAPD, Regal.
Greed ain't no damn race. He said he's taking his wife to Las Vegas this summer to see Gladys Knight. Uh-oh.
Yeah. I like Gladys Knight too. I think she's in residency. I think she has permanent residency here. Do you know what that is, Regal?
He didn't even answer your question about if he's been to Los Angeles or not.
Yeah, because Regal doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's a troll.
He said he's taking his wife to Las Vegas this summer, Shabaka.
Okay, well, Regal, guess what, Regal? It's 99. It was 100 degrees yesterday, Regal. Do you have your suntan lotion?
Oh, my God. He said at least you got good taste in music.
Hey, man, I did Gladys Knight. Patti LaBelle also.
Mm-hmm.
Etta James.
Yep.
Janet Jackson. Sam Cooke. Curtis Mayfield. Smokey Robinson. Miles Davis. Coltrane. Wes Montgomery.
Yep. All of that.
Yeah. And keep in mind, Regal. Hey, Regal. You have multiple clients in Los Angeles. Too bad most of them are Hispanic. Well, Regal.
What do you mean you have clients? Are you a lawyer? What do you...
Yeah, what are you, Regal? You a lawyer? You know, door-to-door salesman? Or what?
He look like a snake oil salesman.
He says he's a loan officer. Oh, so you're a parasite too. Okay.
Oh, you're a
Hopefully
loan.
your ass will get busted for usury. Do you know what usury is? Hey, Regal, you know what usury is?
Oh, God. He said he's a loan officer. So you're a loan
shark.
Yeah,
but he doesn't know the definition of usury.
Let's see what he says. He still ain't answer your question about L.A.
Of course he ain't.
He just said he has multiple clients in L.A.
I buy homes from poor blacks and sell them to hardworking Hispanics. Just like I figured. So you're a parasite in the black community. Okay. Well, okay. All right. Okay, I figured, Regal. Yeah.
To hard-working Hispanic.
So which means, Regal, if all of us was on a plantation, man, you ain't no businessman. You a parasite. Okay. So which means, Regal, if all of us was down there on a plantation in Louisiana, okay, we all got to eat, okay? And me and Brother Paris decide, hey, Regal, let's escape from this wicked master. Let's run away. Regal, you will sit up there and say, man, you crazy. What's better than what we got here? And all your comments right there proves our point. Actually, Regal, I feel sorry for you. And you probably, Regal, need to go see a film called The Imitation of Life, man. You might learn something. Well, see, here's the difference between you and me, Regal. You wouldn't have sold me anywhere. You see what I'm saying? You wouldn't have sold me anywhere.
To the slave day. Slaves be back for being rebellious to master. Yep, spoken like a true house nigga.
Yeah, exactly. Boss, we sick.
You
the boss, bow. Zippity doo dah, zippity day. I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me.
Better not go across the gun line. Boss said, don't go across the gun line.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is a huge ass plantation, and you.
No, the only thing I got to do, Regal, is stay black and die.
That's right.
That's what I got to do.
Right, you got to obey the rules. Nigga,
and you want to know something, Regal? I bet you if Sister Harriet came your way and she would have leveled a street sweeper at you, and you would tell Sister Harriet, oh, we got to go back to Massa, you'd be one of the ones that Sister Harriet would have to kick off the planet to save the railroad, huh? And I'm not talking about the Union Pacific either.
Oh, my God. All right, Shabaka, what's your thoughts on Trump threatening joint U.S.-Israeli attack on Iran?
Okay, well, Trump is a maniac. I don't know if senility is catching up with Trump or too much of that stash of hunters that he's been using, man. He probably left it for him. You know, Trump is out of his mind. Senility is getting in on Trump is because didn't they say that fool is like 78, 79 years old?
Yeah, she was rebellious.
Yeah, she was rebellious, Regal. She had more guts than you.
Ooh.
You know? And then, so Trump is a maniac. The only thing I can say, Black family, is that we got to stay on the dumpster. Okay? They're not going to impeach him. They're getting ready to flip the script to see if he can run for a third term. I'm willing to bet money that they will. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then if he can't, then you got old J.D. Vance. See? Old J.D. Then you got Dump Jr., you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Dump Jr., yep. Oh, Ronald Reagan is turning over in his grave, ain't he? Yeah. Now, what rules do you obey, loan officer? With your Ursurus ass. Yeah, that's what I'm going to start calling you, Regal. Yeah, you're Ursary. That's your new name. Your name is Ursary.
What's the definition of Ursary, Regal?
Yeah, tell us what Ursary is, Regal. And if he cannot give you the definition, man, within the next 10 seconds, then he's not a loan officer.
Fuck no. Let's support our leader. He would have won Kamala in office, I'm sure. Hell no. To hell with both of them.
No, hell to the no on that, Regal. That's the only thing we agree on, except I don't support your leader. Your leader belongs in fucking jail. He is a crook. Understand?
Oh, God. He said support our leader. Our government.
Yeah. Who's us? Who's us, Regal?
Oh, God. Regal make me want to play that Malcolm X clip now.
Yeah, go ahead and play it. You know, this brain dead trick might learn something.
Let me find it, Shabaka. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Regal. I really do. I really feel sorry for Regal. Because, see, Regal, you're the type of Negro that no longer has a chain on his body, but you have the chain on your brain. Yeah, you damn right we ain't brothers. You damn right. Trump's your brother. Eric Adams is your brother. Brandon Johnson is your brother. Donald Trump Jr. is your brother.
Here you go, Regal. This is all you, all day, every day.
Yeah, this is for you, Regal. The minister.
There was two kinds of slaves. There was the house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro, they lived in the house with master.
That's you, Regal.
They dressed pretty good. They ate good because they ate his food. But he left. They lived in the attic or the basement but still they lived near their master. And they loved their master more than the master loved himself. They would give their life to save their master's house quicker than the master would. The house Negro, if the master said, we got a good house here, the house Negro say, yeah, we got a good house here. Whenever the master said we, he said we. That's how you can tell a house Negro. If the master's house caught on fire, the house Negro would fight harder to put the blaze out than the master would. If the master got sick, the house Negro would say, what's the matter, boss? We sick. We sick. He identified himself with his master more than his master identified with himself. And if you came to the house Negro and said, let's run away, let's escape, let's separate, that house Negro would look at you and say, man, you crazy. What you mean separate? Where is there a better house than this? Where can I wear better clothes than this? Where can I eat better food than this? That was that house Negro. In those days, he was called a house nigger. And that's what we call him today, because we still got some house niggers running around here.
Yeah, there you go, Regal.
This modern house Negro loves his master. He wants to live near him. He'll pay 3 times as much as the house is worth just to live near his master. And then brag about, I'm the only Negro out here.
Yeah, that's you, Regal.
I'm the only one on my job.
There you go,
I'm
Regal.
the only one in this school. You're nothing but a house Negro. And if someone comes to you right now and say, let's separate, you say the same thing that the house Negro said on the plantation. What you mean separate? From America? This good white man? Where you gonna get a better job than you get here? I mean, this is what you say. I ain't left nothing in Africa. That's what you say. Well, you left your mind in Africa. On that same plantation, there was the field Negro. The field Negro, those were the masses. There was always more Negroes in the field than there was Negroes in the house. The Negro in the field caught hell. He ate leftovers. In the house, they ate high up on the hog.
And you eat
in the field didn't get nothing right, but what was left of the insides of the hog. They call them chitlins nowadays.
Yeah, they survived, Regal.
In those days, they call them what they were, guts. That's what you were, a gut eater.
Yeah,
and some of you all still gut eaters.
That ain't us, Regal.
The field Negro was beaten from morning till night. He lived in a shack, in a hut. He wore cast-off clothes. And he hated his master. I say he hated his master. He was intelligent. That house Negro loved his master. But that field Negro, remember, they were in the majority. And they hated the master. When the house caught on fire, he didn't try and put it out. That field Negro prayed for a wind, for a breeze. When the master got sick, the field Negro prayed that he died. If someone come to the field Negro and said, let's separate, let's run, he didn't say, where are we going? He said, any place is better than here. You got field Negroes in America today. I'm a field Negro.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, his house Negro is Regal. You see that, Regal? He went up there and told you about yourself, Regal. But guess what, Regal? We don't hate you. We just realize that you are full of self-hatred and that you are ignorant of yourself.
Yep.
So if anything, Regal, you got our sympathy. But you're dangerous, man. You is dangerous. Because you got the chain on your brain, Regal. You see?
All right, Shabaka, let's wrap this up.
Yeah. I got to start my day out here in the wild, wild west. Hey, Jay Militant, what's going on with you, man? Yeah, you missed all the fireworks, man. We got old Regal in the house right here, Jay Militant. And Regal says that he is a house Negro and he's proud of it.
No, we don't need no goddamn loan.
No, man, if I needed a loan, Regal, I'd much rather would go down here to pawn stores and I would go see Chumbly before I see your sorry ass. How about that?
He said he's a house Negro, damn proud of it.
Yeah, Jay Militant. I mean, man, the chain on the brain is bad, man. It's bad. You know. And then Regal got the audacity, Jay Militant, to say that he is a loan officer, so which means he's a parasite. And then he's got the audacity to ask us, do we need a loan? And what's our credit scores? Now, Regal. Now, Mr. Regal. We know, man, that you're going to try to hijack our personal information, man. We know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, and you can sign the check over to us, Regal.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah. Now, we're going to push the reparations issue, Regal. Now, we know you're full of so much self-hate, and you don't believe in that because you like, how should I say, like those of a certain persuasion, if you know what I mean. But that was so long ago. Now, Regal, show me something. I got a question for you, Mr. Regal. You smart. You can handle things with your dumb Fredo ass. Okay. Now, Regal, take a pen and a notepad, and here's what I would like for you to do. Okay. Now, let's say you got a young slave, say 18 years old, picking sugar cane down in Louisiana. And what they use sugar cane for, Regal? Your Jack Daniels, your I.W. Harper, you know what I'm saying? So all that sugar cane you produce, Regal, the white man took that money and parlayed it and parlayed it and parlayed it, got alcoholism real high in the black community. You see what I mean? And all that revenue that came in off the initial investment that still comes in to this day, don't you think the reparations would be fair, Regal? Don't you think? Say, let's see how intelligent you are. You're a loan officer. You're a crook. You know numbers. This right up your alley. Yeah, Jay, he's a troll. Right. Yeah, Jay Militant, he's a troll. I'm just feeding his bullshit to him backwards. And he doesn't like that. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? We could care the fuck less.
Right.
I just want this dumb bunny to think. And you want to know something, Regal? With all that gray hair, man, you looking like an old bastard like me, man. And if you saw the truth, brother, I will forgive you. You know that? Because you don't know any better. The slave only knew what master taught him, Regal.
He said he a proud.
You know?
He said,
yeah, we sick. And then Jay Militant, he's up here trying to push loan packages, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he
wants to make us loans. And do we honestly believe that we will give this damn fool right here all of our personal information for him to use against us to hijack what little money we got in our bank accounts?
He said this is what he does. This is what he does, Jay Millie.
Yeah, oh yeah. You're a free man. Take your black ass to Los Angeles and get jacked up by the LAPD, man, and tell them that shit. And watch how fast the nightstick glides gracefully upside your head. Yeah, man, they'll give you the royal treatment like they did Rodney King.
if you're a freedman, then you'll qualify for the reparations. Then
capitalism is my religion. Wow. Yeah. So you believe in Adam Smith. So therefore, Regal, since capitalism is your religion, well, you know what, Regal, I would say something, man, but I'm not, because you're a black man. Ignorant, but you're still a black man. And I was about to say something to you about your real foul. I was about to tell you to go to San Francisco, connect with Dodge.
Oh, my God. He said capitalism is his religion. Oh, my
Yeah,
Lord.
exactly. So which means is he will sell his soul to the devil, and then he will go to San Francisco and sell something else. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Catch my trick.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Regal, your place would be the Castro district.
Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Regal.
Yeah, we're done with Regal, man, because we got more important things to do. We don't have time for idiots.
MD, are you still with us?
His mic is on mute.
He must be on the road still.
Okay, yeah. He muted himself. Okay. Well, MD, if you're still with us, man, chime on in. You know, we got Regal in here, you know what I'm saying, trolling us, you know what I'm saying, and what have you. You know. Yeah, too bad, Regal, you don't ever come on. You know what I'm saying? We'll treat you with courtesy and respect, although you hate yourself. Mm-hmm.
Regal, like another Sarge.
Yeah, man, he's worse than Sarge. Call him Sergeant Major. Major, brain dead Negro. Capitalism is his religion. Wow.
He said his race was green.
He said his race was green. Now, let's be honest, people. All right, with us walking this planet, if we see a green individual, I can't speak for nobody else, but me, I'm running like hell. I'm going to tell you why.
He's a Martian.
Because this person...
Yeah, free Carmel. Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Jay Milliton, without a doubt. Okay. Now, yeah, free Carmelo Anthony. Yes, sir. He defended himself. Okay. Now, Regal, with you being green, tells me that you are severely ill. Okay. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't, Regal. No, he doesn't.
Regal.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He defended himself. They attacked him. But you will sit up there, Regal, and let the nightstick go gracefully upside your head, and you will sit.
He was definitely raised right to defend himself. So yeah, he was definitely raised right.
And I think he used that right hand too, exercising his right. Get it?
Yep. Regal, you about to get your walking papers. Exactly. Yeah, get him out of
here. Yeah. But I enjoy the glorious idiot. I find him very, very entertaining.
I don't know. I really do. I thought he was 86th already. He just he keep coming under new troll accounts.
Yeah,
1 minute
he's a hacker.
Then the next minute he's Regal. Then he'll be Tesla again.
So he's got multiple personalities. Okay. Well, all righty. He's got psychological issues. Jay Milligan says, bye-bye, coon. Yeah.
Right, cuz get him out of here. Oh, my God. Damn, Regal. All right, thank you for joining us, MD.
All right, MD.
Let's get our closing.
Yeah, let's get our closing in. Okay. So on the closing, Black family, we got to shore up our own resources, do for ourselves. The handwriting is on the wall. Okay. You're going to have plenty of Regals, another Sarge. You know what I'm saying? Okay. we understand that you have these confused Negroes out here. We got to avoid them like we do the plague. You see what I mean? Yeah, that we have to do.
And donate to Carmelo's Give Fin Go. It is up to, what is it up to now?
He says it's yeah. Okay, so on the closing comments, I want to wish everybody a good day from Sin City right here, because our temperatures is going up. We hit the 100-degree mark yesterday, and it's going to be about 90. Yeah, Jay Militant, yeah. And it's going to be 90. And so, like I said, I might go out here and bask in the sun. Got a couple of runs to make out here,
Here.
Yeah. And air date of this episode is April the 11th, 2025. And we need donations, people. You know what I'm saying? To keep afloat. You know what I'm saying? And definitely a shout out there to the Carmelo Anthony family down there, where the young man defended himself. He used by any means necessary. He was attacked, and he defended himself. You see? So most definitely asking the ancestors to protect the Carmelo family. And then Regal, and Regal, you could take your Ursurus loan sharking ass someplace else, man. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot, because you are definitely no benefit for Black people. You are a parasite to the Black community. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm out from Sin City. All right, Brother Chair, I'll give you a call later on. Okay, leaving the studio. All right.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. Going to conclude season 10, episode 19 of Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase, in conclusion with the Front Line Blacc News. Join us tomorrow for a brand new episode of the Front Line Blacc News. In the meantime, make sure y'all like and subscribe to all of our platforms. Front Line Blacc News on YouTube and Facebook. The Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube and Facebook. And Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Facebook and Twitter. So peace, love, light, reparations, and separations, and Black empowerment. Okay, I'll check you out later, because Chain Kruma signing up from the Mile High Income and Illegal Migrant Flooded City. Peace.